Hello, everyone. So today I am going to cover how to write your own rituals. And I know sometimes people think that they are just for pagans, or it's more of a religious thing or a spiritual path thing, but it's not. You can write rituals such as releasing rituals, cutting the cord rituals, anything that you want to bring in or remove from your life, you can turn into a ritual. Sorry, my phone is going off. Let me just shut that sound off. And so I wanted to go over writing a ritual and the different steps. I think that I always encourage that rituals are written by you, the ones that you're going to use. And even though it's convenient and it's easy, especially for someone who's beginning, to use a ritual that they may find someplace, or something that somebody has given to them, or something they pulled from a book, that's okay, absolutely. But I feel like there's so much more of a connection, and that increases the chances of success when you feel so connected to something that you've written and then you put into practice. And so I feel like that's why, that's not even what I was going to say. That is why I wanted to do this video on how to write your own, because I really want to encourage that you do write your own. And you may find that you really like it, especially people who are artistic in the way that they can form words together. Even if you have trouble writing, feeling comfortable with what you've put on a piece of paper that is connected to what you need in your life. Because I feel like sometimes, you can take a book. I'm just going to use this for example. So this is the Daily Spell Journal. And although this is a fantastic book, and I'll just give you a for instance. So we're going to go to today, which is October 5th. So let me just pull it up. And I just want to show you a for instance. Now, anybody who likes this kind of thing, this book is really great. Reconciliation Spell. And so, it has, things here, small piece of paper and a pen and an orange candle. And, basically reconciling with someone that you've been arguing with, or, had a falling out with. And it says here, that it gives you the steps on what to do with this spell. And then it tells you to say, and it has this little piece here. Now, the problem with that, as helpful and as this is, what I would love to see other people do is take something like this and make it their own, put their own words, use their own ingredients. So, and the same goes for anything that you find. Same thing with this book here, Candle Burning Rituals. Great stuff in here. Purification ritual. We have, let's see, to bring pressure to bear on an enemy ritual. We have to conquer fear ritual, to win or hold happiness ritual. So they work much like spells work. They're pretty much manifesting energy. And so now that I've spoken all about why, let's get into the how. And if I look extremely tired, I want to apologize, because I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work, and it is exhausting to wake up so early. Oh my goodness. It's just like, I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, which I'm pretty sure I go to bed before most toddlers, but I go to bed at 8 o'clock, and even though I get enough sleep, that 4:30 a.m. alarm is just, just enough to make me want to drink, and I don't like alcohol. So writing your own rituals. I do have my little notes here, my little bullet points, just to help keep me on track, because as you can see, the first for almost 5 minutes of this video. Yeah, so that's why I have this. So first step is learn about each Sabbat. in general. If you're going to write pagan rituals, I will say that. If you're going to honor the wheel of the year and follow all the Sabbath, sorry, I have a hair on me. The joy of cats. If you're going to start practicing Sabbath rituals and, honoring the wheel of the year and bringing in, the cycles and things like that, learn about every Sabbath. Know why you're celebrating. Know who the Sabbath was celebrated for back then. You can bring in any deities you want, but become familiar who they honored in that time. Then, for instance, you have Lunasa, also called Lammas, but they honored the god Lu. And so it's a harvest ritual, and so it's important to learn when it comes to pagan Sabbath rituals. It's important to learn what you're celebrating. That way, when it comes to writing your ritual, you already have an idea of what you want to put in your ritual based on what the Sabbath is about. So, even if you're not going to be working with the deity that's in part of history and who they honored and during that time, it's important to learn about it. And the reason why I say that, you will see a connection in some of the old rituals and who they called, and you may find some resonation there and why you call on your deities as well. So, really learning all about and becoming very familiar with each Sabbath. And it doesn't have to be done all at once. You can break it down where, like a week or 2 weeks before the Sabbath, you start studying. And study is not like, all-nighters and just looking up endless information. It could really literally be you dedicating, 10 minutes a day to reading a new article, a new chapter, a new whatever, and learning about the Sabbath and learning what it was for and different things they did at that time of year. I mean, don't forget, then they didn't have grocery stores. They grew all of their food. We're heading towards the dark of the year. The dark of the year for them was a very tough time because they had to grow enough food to last through the entire winter. And so, that's why we welcome the return of the sun, because it means better days are coming and, the earth will be bountiful again. And so, for me, it just, everything is so cohesive. Everything works so beautifully together. Each Sabbath rolls into the next so beautifully. And it's so great to learn about all of them and what they mean. So next, you want to take a piece of paper. I think that for me, you can do it on a computer. I'm not very technologically savvy. I like to write everything down. I'm one of those that believe that when I write down my ritual, I'm adding my own power and my own energy to that ritual. And for me, that holds, and so when I do it, it already has that energy in it. So you want to take a piece of paper or your computer and write down your ingredients and the materials that you're going to need. Think about, what you want to use. This is from altar cloth, altar decorations. What kind of candles are you going to use? What colors? Are you going to hold a cakes and ale rite? Really having everything listed. That way, when it's time to perform the ritual, you have everything there. It's kind of like a checklist. That way, you don't forget anything, so you don't have to step outside your circle to grab it. Next is cleansing your space. So are you going to use sage? Are you going to use your besom? Are you going to use salt and water? How will you do this? Are you going to speak any words while you cleanse your space? It might be a good idea to write that down, and have that. So it's almost like step one in your ritual is cleansing your space. Do you cast a circle? If so, how do you cast your circle? Do you walk around once? Do you walk around 3 times? Some people just walk once. Some people walk 3 times. There are words that are spoken. What are those words? What words resonate with you? So that would be like step 2, casting your circle. Calling in the quarters would be step 3. And Are you starting at the north or are you starting at the east? People do that differently as well. Some people start at the north, some people start at the east. It's completely up to you how you start calling in your quarters. If you are going to start at north, then it's going to go north, east, south, west. So you would end at west. If you start at east, it would be east, south, west, north. So you would end at north. What do you want to say to call them in? What kind of, do you want to use candles, to light after you're done calling the quarters? Do you want to have like little tokens that represent each direction and element? That's completely up to you, but that's a good idea to figure that out beforehand and writing it down. That's why I love having my rituals handwritten. Let's see. So how are the directions and elements in relation to the Sabbat? So for instance, and I wrote down an example here, powers of east, element of air, your breezes caress and refresh me and spreads the sweet sense of spring blossoms. Come to this circle to bring me inspiration and wisdom. Hail and welcome. So this would be like, a spring or a Ostara ritual. And, where we're talking about, I call the quarters in relation to the Sabbat, what time of year it is. So you can word it like that. You can word it however you choose. If you are using candles at the quarters, light the candle either during or after calling each one. So you can do it as you're calling, light the candle as you're calling them, or you can light it right after you're done calling them. Are you invoking a deity? A god or goddess or both? You would invoke the goddess first. Write something that connects to you, calling her in. After invoking, light her candle. You can do so during as well. But definitely write something that connects to you, calling her in. Invoke the god next. Write something that connects you to him and then light his candle. And the next part is the body of the ritual. So this is where you would do your working. So in this section, let's say if you're doing a releasing, this is the part where you would write what you want to release on a piece of paper and then burn it. If you're doing a reconciliation ritual, this is where you would do the steps to that. So this is the body. This is where the work is done. So after you've done all of that, you can then meditate. You can do a spell even after. This is like where all your energy is raised. You have all of the elements. You have your deities, or if you choose not to use deities, that's fine too. But you have everything prepared for you to do your magical working in this space, in this time. So use it. If you want to drum and get that energy up, if you want to dance and build that energy, you can do so. And then use that and cast it out in the form of a ritual, a spell, however. After that, you can do any magical work here, which I just said. Now is the time for making an offering to your deities if you called them in. So, if you decide to call in deities during a ritual, like let's say if you're doing a Sabbat ritual and you are doing one for, we'll say Lamas or Lunasa. Some people honor only the goddess. Some people honor both. However you choose to practice your craft, that's your business. I call in both. So, now is the time that I would do a libation or an offering to them. And I call it it's called the cakes and ale rite. And so this is the time where I take a piece of my bread or whatever I have, and I break a piece off and I put it in their bowl, and I take some of my ale or my juice or my wine or whatever it is I'm using and pour some into their offering bowl on top of the cakes. And then, I go to each element, and then, I would like to do a different video on the cakes and ale rite, because I don't want to lose any pieces of that. trying to explain it quickly. So I think that will be my next video. So, but this is the time that you do the cakes and ale rite. And then after you're done with the cakes and ale rite, it's time to close the ritual. So this is where we're settling down. We have, the energy that, we've casted out and into the universe to manifest in the form of, a ritual, spell, whatever you want to call it. So you want to thank the God first. We called him in last and when we were invoking the deities. So we want to thank him first. So we thank him for his time and, his presence and his blessings, or however you want to word it. And then you snuff his candle. Then you thank the goddess and you snuff her candle. And then you want to release the quarters. And if you started at north, then you would start at west to release them. If you started at the east, then to call them, then you would start at the north to release them. After you've released your quarters, sorry, I'm so incredibly tired. After you've released your quarters, then this is time that you want to close your circle. So however you choose to cast your circle, whether it be your finger, whether it be an athame, whether it be a wand, however you choose, you basically want to bring that energy, that bubble of energy back into whatever you used to cast it. If you're using your finger, that is absolutely fine. Just make sure you ground yourself afterwards. Otherwise, you're going to have all of this energy floating around inside of you, and that can just make you kind of floaty and disconnected. And so you definitely want to ground that. The way that I choose to ground is I see myself planted firmly on my floor, and where my floors are made of wood, I see myself firmly planted to it, and I see the energy go from my finger through my arm, down through my body, out my feet, and into the floor, and it travels along the floor, out the door, and out into the backyard, and I see it go into the ground. And so then I know my circle is open. If you're using a wand or an athame, you can choose to leave that energy in those tools. Some people use that energy later on, so you can absolutely leave that energy in your tools. You just don't want to leave that energy in you. And then you bring your offering outside. So the offering that you made for the god and the goddess, you would then take that outside and you would leave it out for the animals to eat. And, that's giving your, wow. That's giving your offering back to the earth. And so, you can empty out your libation dish. That way you can come upstairs and rinse it and dry it and whatever. That's what I usually do. I usually take it outside and I dump it out for the animals to eat, and I give it back to the earth. And then I come upstairs and I wash all of my stuff that I've used, and then, and that is how I do my rituals. If you guys would like me to do a more in-depth, almost like breaking it down into sections, I can do writing a ritual part 1, writing a ritual part 2, and really breaking down these things even more, such as calling the quarters. Especially if you're new. I know that people who have been in the craft, some people don't call quarters, and that's absolutely fine. Some people want to, and they don't know where to start. And so that's why I'm leaving that, option available to you. If you would like, I know I shared this video to my Facebook page. You can leave a comment in the group if you want. You can comment right on this video. I have no problem writing a ritual down into different parts and really going through what each one of them are and leaving examples as well on how to write them. I just didn't want this video to be 3 hours long. So that's why I wanted to do a quick run through. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one, which will be the cakes and ale rite. I believe I'm going to do that. So, but until then, I hope you have a wonderful day. So, bye.